Hey friends, this is Nikki with Scrappy Squirrel. I wanted to introduce you to some new concept I'm going to be doing here on our YouTube channel. It's a product review. So basically I'm going to go and look at a pattern that I have sewn recently and tell you my favorite parts about it and maybe my not so favorite parts, but I pretty much like everything. So I'm just going to share with you some fun patterns because I know we're always out there looking for something fun to sew and to create. But we're always not sure when you first see that pattern, is this gonna work for me? Maybe some of the ins and outs. So I wanna tell you about a fun pattern I just recently tried. This one is the Patchwork Mini Duffel by Knot and Thread. Okay, so this pattern right here, fabulous. She introduced this pattern on Instagram. I saw it, I was like, oh, I love it. I love that patchwork effect that is on there and I wanna make that. I love to do anything that has that patchwork feel. My favorite thing to use is Quilt Smart Grid. You can't use that on this bag because the size is not right, but still you get that feel of patchwork. So I made this great bag recently to take with us to a show, and I wanted to share with you some of my favorite parts of the pattern. So there's two patterns that she has. You can download these patterns directly from her page, Knot and Thread. It's Knot and Thread Design is the name of her page, and she's on Instagram. She's got a website. Jump in there, grab some of her patterns. They are fabulous. So she was advertising these on Instagram, and I saw them, and I wanted to jump in and try it. So she has two versions. She has the mini and then the regular patchwork duffel. Okay, so what the one I made was the mini. When you see this, you're gonna go, that's the mini? I'm like, yeah, that's the mini. So I can't wait to make the larger one and try this one out. Here is my patchwork duffel. Now I did it in one fabric when I made this. I used Bosal Interfoam for my interfacing on this. So instead of using Annie Soft and Stable, which is a fabulous product, I use Bosal Interfoam because it's fusible. I love to use a fusible product. And it's also made in the US, so that is a winner in my book always. So that's what I use to make this bag right here, and it gives it a lot of structure. So if you ever have held a Vera Bradley bag, what's inside of them is the same product, the Bosal Interfoam. That's IN-R-foam. That's the product that I used inside of here. So I quilted the fabric ahead of time on my long arm, and then I cut out the pieces for this bag. So you can see I used Wyndham fabric from Sassafras Designs. So it has all your favorite things on it. Of course, for me, it's coffee, it's books, it's kayaking, it's time in the woods, so many great things. This fabric like defines me, it's fabulous. I also, for my straps, instead of doing the fabric covered, I just used the great tulip pink ribbon from Renaissance Ribbon. So that's the ribbon I used for my straps right here, and it turned out beautiful with those. Great ribbon. I also use that for my tabs on the side, which is what calls for the pattern. Then I used a byAnnie zipper for my top zipper on it. Now, the inside of my bag, I'm going to show you the secret in a moment. The inside of my bag was just some fabric I had on the long arm from the back of a quilt. So when I have a quilt in the long arm and I have extra fabric for backing, sometimes I'll throw some Bosal on there and quilt it up and use it for making my bags. So here's what I changed about the pattern. And not that it needed changed, it's just we see something like, oh, but what if I did this? So one other thing I want to show you before I show you my changes, it has side pockets on it. So there's no pockets on the inside, but it does have side pockets on it. And you put this little binding trim on it, so that's where I gave it a little zing. And I don't know if you can see this, but you see that my zipper combination with my binding matches my strapping. Kind of planned that. It was kind of fun. So here's what I did different. Couple small things. When I put the tabs on the side, I went ahead and put a triangle ring on it. A 1.5 inch triangle ring from byAnnie. I put one on both sides, okay? So when I did that triangle ring, I am now able to put a strap on my bag. So I used my little clasp here, so the strap up using some extra strapping that I had. And I'm putting this on both sides. So now here's my bag, and I can throw it over my shoulder going through the airport, or if I'm trying to carry like 5 bags inside, I can throw it over my shoulder. The only thing I might have done different on this is to put a slider on it So that way I could adjust the strap to a different size. But it was so easy, I could literally cut this and re-sew this and make it shorter if I wanted to. But I just think it's fabulous just like it is. I love it, right? The other thing I would change, and if I make mine another one, and I probably will. Also, girls and guys, personalize your projects. I have my own tags here. I'll show you here. I have my own tags that say Noodle Girl. That's kind of who I am. My nickname's been Noodle my whole life. So I throw my tags in my bags and people know who made it. And it just kind of personalizes it to me. It's not a label with like where I made it, when I made it, like you do on a quilt, but it gives it a little personalization and they know who made that bag for them. So the only other thing I would change on my next one is the binding. You cut a whole bunch of bias binding to do the inside edges. And by the way, I love how she did this. Fabulous. I love the concept. It was really easy. You know, when I've done other bags from other designers with binding on the inside, that's the part I dread. But when she did this one and how she did it, I'm like, that was genius. I don't know, it was smart for me, and it made it so much easier and less intimidating. But I would add a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch when you cut this. So whatever the measurement is in the pattern, you need to buy the pattern, it's good. When you buy that pattern and you go to cut this bias, I would cut a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch extra. I like to do a healthy 1/4 inch when I'm doing a bag construction like this. I don't want anything to shift on me, or if it does, I don't want to lose it in the seam and have to go back and redo it. So it was kind of difficult for me to fold that over and stitch that down. So that would be the only 2 things I did to it. I added the strap, the ability to put a strap on it, and I would increase that binding size. Otherwise, I would keep everything the same. This is a fabulous bag. And again, this is the mini, okay? The big one, this is a weekend bag. I mean, easily I could pack for a weekend of this. My exercise clothes, my tanning runners, my outfits, and my makeup bag would totally fit in this. If I made the larger size, that would take me probably for a whole week. Or a vacation trip, I could take both, make a combo set. Fabulous bag. Be sure to grab this pattern. If you're local, I do have the Patchwork Duffel mini patterns here at the Squirrel Den. If not, jump online, download it, go to your local quilt shop, find some great fabric from any designer, and make this bag. I hope you enjoyed this little review about a great bag pattern. And be sure to like and subscribe to our page so that you can see more of my videos. Have a great day.